The Apple headset is here. It's real, it exists, and we finally have so many details that you need to know. So for the first time, I can finally give you all the details. Let me explain what this thing is, exactly what it does, its best features, the price tag, when it's coming, and answer the big question, should you actually buy one? Is this going to be as revolutionary as the iPhone or the Apple Watch or the iPad? Or is Apple hyping this up to be a little bit more ambitious than it actually is? Is this gonna change the world? Let's talk about that, and let me tell you all of the details that you need to know right now. So Apple just wrapped up the WWDC keynote, and there was really a lot packed into this event. We got some huge details and new features on iOS 17, new versions of watchOS, macOS, finally an all-new MacBook Air, lots of exciting stuff I've got to cover, and I promise I will get to those new features and the new betas and all that stuff in other videos. Stay tuned for that. But in this video, I feel like what many want to know, probably you watching this video, is all about the headset. We've been hearing about this for years. There were so many on again, off again leaks and rumors, and now that Apple has finally shown it off, I can give you all the details, and let me just sort of break down everything we got from that keynote and everything again that you actually need to know. So after a lot of rumors, the official name for this headset is Apple Vision Pro, and the design is striking. And already there are a lot of comments that some people love it, some people hate it, and of course you can comment down below and tell me what you're thinking about this design. Basically, it's unlike anything we've ever seen before, but there are hints of Apple design DNA built in. You've got the digital crown, which obviously is stolen right from the Apple Watch as a main method of sort of moving around and navigating different parts of the experience here. You've got a mesh band on the back that sort of looks kind of AirPods Max-esque there, sort of giving those design cues a bit, but overall here, the design is definitely unlike anything we've ever seen before. It's using a combination of aluminum alloy and glass for the materials here, and Apple says it's adjustable so you can sort of make sure it gets the right fit just for you, that there's different ways to sort of adjust this. One interesting note though that we didn't get a lot of info on is that apparently for glasses wearers, you might have to order and install custom Zeiss lens attachments. No word on that just yet, but as a glasses wearing person myself, a little disappointed on that, but hopefully more info soon. And then of course, another interesting design choice that many are not going to like is the tethered battery pack. So the rumors are right, this does not have a fully wireless experience. You're sort of getting this magnetic battery attachment that's going to give you 2 hours of battery life while using a battery. And also if you want to use it plugged in during the day, you can get sort of full power there for all day use because you're not running off a battery. But that battery is there, it is detachable, but it is going to give you a cord sort of running down one side of your face. And just to touch a little bit on specs, these are using sort of breakthrough micro OLED displays to sort of give you this ultra high resolution image here. It has sort of a new spatial audio system built in that Apple says is incredibly convincing and will really do a great job at tricking your brain that the audio you hear from an app or a movie or a game is really in the room around you, and the headset is able to sort of analyze the specific room you're in to make that audio immersive experience even more convincing. It's powered by a couple of Apple silicon chips, the Apple M2 processor. So basically you've got sort of a high-end Mac level silicon built in to do all this processing, and then an all new processor 2, an R1 chip that's gonna handle all the real-time processing from all those cameras and sensors. There's also a specific iris scanner or sensor built in that allows for something called Optic ID. So we had a Touch ID, Face ID, and an Optic ID that basically is going to scan your iris, your own iris that's unique and sort of just to you, to do things like authenticating the headset to unlock so you can sort of get into your virtual world, and also can be used for autofilling passwords, used for making purchases, all that stuff that you normally would use your face or finger for, you now can basically just use your iris for, which is sort of crazy to say. The other big part of the design is sort of a lack of controllers. You're not using physical handheld controllers here. Apple says that they want to give you a very immersive experience and allow you to just to use what you have on you, sort of like the iPhone changed touchscreens by getting rid of, physical QWERTY keyboards. The headset is going to rely on your voice, your eyes, and your hands and specific hand gestures to interact with the virtual world around you and control everything you'd want to without needing any sort of external, device in your hands. Okay, so now that you know about the design and the specs, what's the feature set here? What does this thing actually do? And we don't have a really clear idea of exactly what it does, but we do have a couple of instances of things you can do here on your headset that Apple highlighted. Of course, the big one is going to be watching content, watching movies, playing games, interacting with friends and family on FaceTime calls. Apple really wants you to blend the real world and the virtual world together to give you an experience unlike anything you've ever seen before. One of the cool things is that you can sort of have an unlimited amount of windows all around you, basically different apps, and you can make them as big or as small as you want. So if you want to multitask, you've got a couple of browser windows up, you can do that. But let's say you want to go full on movie theater mode, pull that thing all the way up, make it a huge screen experience. You can do that and really lose your real physical world around you and be transported into a very sort of immersive virtual movie theater experience. In terms of apps, all the Apple apps you'd expect are here, it seems like. So photos, messages, Safari, stuff like that. Apple says that they are working with some developers early to create sort of specific apps for the Vision Pro headset. The Walt Disney Company showed off some cool demos of things they can do with Disney Plus and other experiences. But also they are making a way for standard apps you have on sort of your iPhone and iPad to be ported on here as well. And of course, they mentioned there will be an app store so you could download third-party apps and get new experiences here. But it seems like really from the start, there'll be a handful of custom-made apps, but you're probably going to be heavily relying on Apple's own experiences. And not only is Apple going all in on spatial computing for the experience here, but also is going to allow you to capture spatial photos and videos with the headset as well. There's actually a dedicated button for capturing these different experiences that would allow you to sort of relive moments in a new way. It looks very interesting to sort of get down and sort of use the headset to capture these moments, but you can do that, and that is cool to see. Another big part here is how you're going to interact with the world around you and also how people will interact with you. So one of the big hallmark features of the Vision Pro headset is that your eyes are projected outwards, so people who come up to you will be able to see you and sort of see what you're doing and sort of have a conversation with you. And also, if you're sort of immersed in a fully immersive experience, you're in an app and someone comes by you, the experience will sort of fade away for a moment so you can see who's around you and be able to have a conversation if needed. So sort of a nice way to sort of see people who are in this experience if you happen to pass by them and sort of see what's going on. But definitely a very interesting design choice, and you're gonna look interesting wearing this on your head no matter what you're doing or where you are. And then of course comes the big question of pricing and availability. So it's going to be available sometime early next year, and the price, Apple says, starts at $3,500. That's right, $3,500. They didn't give any more specifics on color options or configurations or storage or how much those external Zeiss lenses will cost or how much an external battery pack is. None of that. All we know is $3,500 and will become available sometime early next year, according to Apple. Okay, so with all of those details in mind, there's still one big question we should discuss, and that is, what type of product is this going to be? Is it going to be like an iPhone, an Apple Watch, or maybe even like the Newton? That is to say, is this going to change the world like the original iPhone did? I mean, that product wasn't universally loved when it launched, but it's very clear now looking back with sort of hindsight being 2020, that the iPhone totally revolutionized not just the world of technology and smartphones, but it changed the world. Our lives today are very clearly pre-iPhone and post-iPhone. The iPhone revolutionized the tech industry. It changed Apple, it changed our lives, and Apple really, I guess to, use a term from like Steve Jobs, they put a ding in the universe, and Apple will always be known for the company behind the iPhone. There's also the story of the Apple Watch, a very ambitious project from Apple that is today a great product, but had a bit of a bumpy start there, and it was a little touch and go in the beginning. The Apple Watch in the beginning was more of a fashion piece. It was a little notification machine, and it could do some health tracking and stuff, but that really wasn't what it was marketed as or what it was intended to be. But that quickly changed over the years as the Apple Watch really found its footing. And as Apple learned more about that product and really understood what people wanted, they sort of morphed the Apple Watch to be less of a, $10,000 fashion piece and more of your de facto fitness tracker that was stylish and lived on your wrist. Maybe this headset might have a bit of a bumpy go in the beginning, but will eventually sort of morph into a product that is more respected and more loved. Or are we looking at like a Newton scenario? Something where Apple really hypes up all these capabilities and it's going to be amazing and it's going to make your life way better, and the thing just flops and is still to this day like the laughing stock of Apple in certain circles. Many point to that as being one of Apple's biggest failures, and they still reference that today as a time when Apple really didn't get things right. Apple has been known, especially over the last couple of decades, as getting it right over and over again. They seem to make the impossible possible. They can make things happen, but we still don't know as of right now where this headset is going to land. Is it going to be amazing? Is it going to be a must-have device? Is it going to have a bit of a slow start? As of right now, we really just don't know. And should you buy one? That's another sort of tough answer to give as well. I will certainly try one as soon as I can. I will be your human guinea pig. Wish I could have tried one today, but not like I'm bitter that Apple didn't invite me or anything. But I will certainly try this and let you know. I think it's going to be a little bit of a wait and see scenario once we sort of get these out and sort of the illusion and the hype of WWDC sort of settles down and we get out of the marketing vortex and we can really test this thing for ourselves. We'll have a better idea, but we don't really know exactly how this is going to play out right now, though this is going to be a very interesting product to track over the next couple of years and see just how crazy and ambitious this thing actually is going to be. The other interesting part of this story is sort of the question of how this affects the iPhone. Does this change the next release of the iPhone, like the iPhone 15? Are we going to see more augmented and virtual reality things implemented into macOS and iOS? And of course, as I've been talking about for months, if not years now, is this going to replace the iPhone? Is Apple ultimately planning for this product to be the iPhone's successor? It's going to replace the iPhone and do iPhone things better in every single way, like the iPhone eclipsed the iPod. Will this eventually eclipse the iPhone over the next few years? Obviously, we have hotly contested debates on that in the comments of like every single video we post talking about that, so I'm sure we will discuss it, but the question sort of remains very relevant today more than any other day. This could mean the iPhone's days are numbered, of course, only if Apple can pull this off and do things right. All right, everybody, now it is your turn. I want to know your thoughts on WWDC. Do you think this event lived up to the hype? Were the leaks and rumors you were hoping, true, actually turned out to be true? Are you all in on the headset and iOS 17 and everything Apple is doing? Or are you a bit disappointed? And just let me know your general thoughts down below. Are you buying one of these? Are you not? Are you putting the beta on your phone today of iOS 17? Let me know your thoughts down below. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. Also, stay tuned. I will have full, extensive coverage on everything announced today, including new hardware, betas, all that stuff coming soon. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As always, I appreciate you guys watching, though. Thank you so much. I am Robert Rosenfeld from the Apple Circle, and I'll see you all in the next one.